What's up, guys? Matty here from DCL Blogger. How you doing? Good morning, good night, good evening. Welcome to another stream. This is a Monday morning for us in Melbourne, Australia. Weather is pretty decent. We have a ton of stuff to get through. Obviously, on the weekend, it's been 48 hours, and that is a lot in the crypto NFT world. So definitely, we'll be going through a lot of stuff with you guys. How are you guys doing? Would love to know and hear about your weekend. Has it been NFT crazy? There's been some drops. There's been some stuff about loot. What the hell is going on there? I put a tweet out just now, so we should have a ton more people join us. But it has been a very confusing 48 hours for many people, as usual. A ton of stuff happening. It seems like we're moving somewhat away from the avatar projects, or at least the quality of avatar projects are changing. Hey, Maddie, hope you're doing well. Thank you, Danish. Hope you're doing well, my friend, as well. JC, how you doing? Mario, what is up? Practice and apply. I like that name. Alex, yeah, I'm back. Friday, guys. So I was wanted to do a stream on Friday as usual, but I got caught up taking care of the baby. So you know, dad duties, you can say. But we are back on the Monday, doing well. Adil M, Sup Maddie, do you think MAYC kind of popped up the PFP bubble since the BYC brand gave out a cheaper price point? Kind of. Did it pop the bubble? I don't think there is a bubble with PFP projects. I think they just hit hard, and they're only going to get more and more interesting, and they're only going to get more and more enticing to get part of, just because the PFP projects that we're starting to see, guys. Okay, let me just quickly change my view 1 sec. Oops. All right. We moved from basically very simple pictures to what is it? Meccaverse, right? Meccaverse, highly anticipated. 12,200 likes. So this went crazy. In 54,000 followers. They literally just launched on August, I think, like 25th or something. So, or maybe 29th. Been active for 10 days, and they're popping, and I can't imagine them not selling out. People just like to connect and be part of the community, and I think that aspect of it will never really go away. But what BASI did, guys, is basically show the crypto and NFT world how to run value to an NFT project. I think it's interesting to think that they can just drop 10,000 more avatars, and the previous avatars will hold value, and the new avatars will go up in value as well. There's just so much demand for them. It's yeah, I mean, the cheapest BAYC, Bored Ape, is I think like still 40 Ethereum or something. So we'll go through a little bit of that later. But yeah, absolutely highly anticipated avatar projects. You've also got what do you call it? You have what is it? Akira from Artifact Studio, right? Akira from Artifact Studio. Whoops, Artifact. I think these two are like mega anticipated. They're dropping this and getting a ton of engagement. So there's another one there, 3D avatars. And I know someone like Artifact Studio or these new studios, what they're going to do is they're going to bring these avatars and communities to the metaverse. So what's actually going on here is these communities are kind of being bootstrapped, and they're given an identity in mass, and those identities are going to be ported over to the metaverse virtual worlds. That's the transition we're going to. Now, porting them over to the virtual worlds isn't an easy process, but if you can build in 3D and all that sort of stuff, and your connections in DCL, Sandbox, Somnium Space, CryptoVoxels, etc., then you can start to really build and go heavy. And once those start to become a buzzing place that's very engaged, then these will have a ton of value, because everyone in the social and virtual world will identify them. Rogue Society robot looks cool. Yeah, we'll definitely go through some more avatar projects. There's some really cool stuff. Like I went to Rarity Tools. Actually, let's just go through now. It's always fun to go through avatar projects. I went into Rarity Tools and went to Upcoming, and I was pretty amazed at the stuff that's coming out. There's this one over here that I thought was pretty cool. September 8th, 2021. I think that is today. I think that is... No. still another 2 days from now. This looked pretty cool. So the video game dev squad seems like a gaming universe. And now the difference between this and every other avatar project that I have seen come across my radar is, first of all, this looks pretty cool, but that's not the difference. Looks are not enough, guys. Well, looks are not enough. The difference is the transparency. Look at this. The creator or the founder has a YouTube video channel talking about his project, right? A lot of transparency, a lot more incentive to stay in the game and build a legacy, because if you're just doing this anonymously, then it's very easy to just be like, well, I'm out, you know, I made a few $1 million, I'm just gonna move on. But here we have someone who's putting his name and his brand and everything out there. There's an idea to make card games. Not even that, there's actually like, I think there's video footage somewhere of the game being played. I think it's in here, but there's like some like basic footage of the game. Governance token, they've already said there's like a cryptocurrency token, and this NFT will allow you to participate in the pre-sale of that token. There's a lot of things going on, and I just love the fact that they're much more transparent, and there's only 5,500 of them. Where are they? 5,500 of them. So they're trying to raise half of what the usual avatar projects go on to raise, right? Usual avatar projects end up doing 10,000 avatars at 0.08 Ethereum each. 800 Ethereum, which is now, 800 times 4, 3.2 million USD. So these guys are trying to raise half of that, 1.6 million USD, which I think is quite modest for a great product. So I think what we're seeing now is kind of a transition into much better avatar projects, where if you can't really compete with this sort of dev work, this idea, the concept, and in my opinion, transparency, then I just don't think you'll be able to maintain interest to your community. Anyway, many cool NFT projects coming up just in terms of looks. I like this sort of aesthetic. I like this. Last time I checked here was a couple of weeks ago, and I can already see a bit of an improvement in looks. Now, there's also some really basic ones. I'm not going to say which ones I'm talking about. Jailbirds, prisoner with tattoo themed bird avatars NFTs. I like the art, but I don't think the art is enough these days. We've seen, an avatar project looks good, but give it 3 days and there'll be another avatar project that looks just as good, if not 10 times better. So looking at a few of these, they definitely, there's a lot of them and the art looks better. I'd love to see the plans. And there should be a column here in terms of like the roadmap, maybe, so we can quickly check, are these guys trying to get into the metaverse? What are they trying to do? Stay strong and hodl. What in the world is this? There's just different pics of like smashed art. Could be an art thing. It's got a Mecca sign on it. I do like people experimenting with other things apart from just avatars. We know Boss Logic's gauntlets. Boss Logic gauntlets, where is he? Twitter, are different, right? They are a hand kind of thing. So you got Boss Logic here who releases gauntlets, but he also said recently, he said something about having a great chat with DC. So it looks like there may be some collaboration there, or they may be hinting to something with the gauntlets. But the gauntlets are your way to invest in Boss Logic. Every time Boss Logic tweets like he's got some collaboration coming up or something coming up, you probably will see those gauntlets go up in value. Right? It was totally a cash grab. Yeah, it was a lot of money raising. So I think they did what, 10,000 avatars at 0.26 ETH each, 2,600 Ethereum, pretty much 10 million USD. So they raised a ton of money. This is a cash grab. We are yet to see what they've got to build, right? We definitely need to see what they've got to build. I have faith in Boss Logic's power to bring in a network. I'm not sure who's behind the scenes in making sure the economy stays strong, because that's a different type of skill set. That requires you to understand when to do drops, how much of drops to do, when to release more stuff, what makes the community energized into buying more, what brings the value of this stuff up. That's a different skill set. So I would be interested to see who's driving that side. All right, guys, there is, again, like I said, there's plenty of stuff to go through. I will try and do this video, this stream, 45 minutes. So we got another 30 to 40 minutes. I don't want to make it too long because I noticed people start to drop off at about 30 to 40 minute mark, and I lose my voice. So we'll do that. Now again, there is a as you know, there is a what do you call it? There's a giveaway. Now let me see if Michael has pinned the post or posted the giveaway link. Yes, he has. Guys, pinned post. Pinned post has a link to the giveaway. Now I am a couple of giveaways behind in giving stuff away, in terms of a couple of people won on, I think, Wednesday and Thursday. I still have to send them their NFTs. So if you're listening, I promise I'll do this right after this video. Another thing is that because I missed Friday, I was going to give 2 things away. So make sure you go here, guys. Already has 241 party submissions. So already 245 people have entered the giveaway. This will spit out a winner in 16 minutes. So you click the link that's pinned on the chat. Whoops, I put it to the wrong window. But yeah, you click on the link, you go in here, NFT Maddie Stream giveaway channel, and you smash this thing. And every day, like I said, every day we give something away, right? So this time, giving away 2 Astro Friends. You guys know I have a ton of Astro Friends, and they still make pretty decent giveaways because the team's quite active in building things, and I have 350 of them. So we're going to give them away. Now, floor price of Astro Friends is definitely dropping, and I think the team has to kind of prove that they got more to show. So 0.058, 0.06 Ethereum. I think a lot of people were waiting to get the Rickstro Friends, which they got, and now they're kind of selling these because they feel like they don't need it anymore. But I know the team has this idea of having a treasury and buying out all the floor ones as well. So we're waiting for that and other things that they've got planned. The team has come public with who they are. Again, a public team is a big plus for me. I kind of know that they'll work at it to fine tune and figure out where the sweet spot is and keep pushing the community forward. So we'll see what happens. 0.06 Ethereum, I think is like 240 USD, right? 250 USD. We're going to give away 2 of them away. So enter the giveaway. Whoever wins that is going to win 2, or do we have 2 winners? Yeah, we got 2 winners. So 2 people will win a Rickstro Friend each. I hope the gas is good. This gas fees actually sometimes are costing me more than the giveaway themselves. Fees are like $200 sometimes. So let's hope. Ethereum fees. There you go. So I keep a tab of this every time. So this every hour it pings me on fees. You can see here 130 Gwei it was an hour ago. Now it seems to have slowed down a bit. It's at 81 Gwei. Looks like it's $64 US to transfer an NFT or somewhere around that. So this thing gives me a really good indication as to when to wait. Obviously 6 hours ago I would definitely have not transferred anything because it would have cost me $250 US to transfer anything out. But again, this gives me a great indication as to when to transfer something out. All right, again guys, plenty of stuff to go through, so let's get started. And then after this, we'll have a conversation. We'll talk about some stuff among you guys. All right. We had DappRadar post another thing about Axie Infinity generating over $1.7 billion in total sales volume. So they've done close to a couple of $1 billion in transactional volume just in their own standalone marketplace, which I believe is doing like $20 to $30 million a day now. Surely, actually, I think they've done more than $1.7 billion, right? If they're transacting 30 mil a day, and you just like 1 month alone is $1 billion. So I'm not exactly sure what this means. $1.7 billion in sales volume. Maybe that's revenue, making it the most valuable NFT collection ever. Okay, let's read the report. What they mean by that, because I think they've done more than that actually. NFTs are driving record volumes, and the DeFi space looks more competitive than ever. August 2021 was an important month for the industry. Record trading volumes confirmed that this is the summer of NFTs. While some collections have surpassed $1 billion in market cap, the surge of play-to-earn games continues as certain gaming dApps contribute to the increased usage of blockchain dApps. Finally, the decentralized finance race, blah, 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 blah. That is really boring to read. Ethereum NFTs marketplace OpenSea generated $3.3 billion during August alone. Collections like CryptoPunks Bored Ape seem to be perceived as a store of value. Store of value, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. CryptoPunks, yes. Bored Apes are still new, so they haven't been proven as a store of value yet. It's very early to say that. Google Trends, so search for the word NFT. This went bonkers in January. So it looks like Jan, Feb No, January it went crazy. You can see here the blue lines, the search for NFT. DeFi, so that's, DeFi was a thing, and now NFTs are surging back again. And we're in September, so this looks like September, August, September. It seems to be going crazy. Search for OpenSea, so it's OpenSea and NFTs seem to be getting a very similar search volume, which is quite interesting. I mean, OpenSea and NFTs are becoming quite synonymous. It's great for OpenSea. That means pretty much everyone that's getting into NFTs is transitioning into using OpenSea, which is great, right? The play-to-earn revolution continues in full display with Axie Infinity dictating the pace. The game surpassed $1.7 billion in historic sales volume and keeps engaging more than 1 million daily players. BSC games continue to attract good audience, while Wax, Hive, EOS are mostly driven by gaming dApps. Again, guys, I just, $1.7 billion in historic sales volume. I wonder where they got that metric from. Key takeaways: the dApp industry registered more than 2 million daily active unique wallets during August, 18% increase. So there's 2 million daily unique wallets. Is that with NFTs or is that just overall? BSC continues to be among the most used networks in the entire industry with over 1 million unique active wallets. The network is being driven by the play-to-earn paradigm as of lately. Okay, I didn't know that. Is there a BSC play-to-earn that I'm missing? The NFT space exploded in August, surpassing $14.3 billion in market cap. Axie Infinity and OpenSea, $400 million and $78 million respectively, generated $500 million in revenue during August alone, collectively representing 87% of Ethereum's total revenue. So OpenSea and Axie alone are 87% of Ethereum's total revenue. Does that mean, yeah, right. So OpenSea is basically everything, right? So CryptoPunks comes through OpenSea, Bored Apes gets sold through OpenSea. A lot of stuff comes through OpenSea. So that pretty much represents the majority of the network. Cool. Well, usage in the industry driven by gaming. It's a pretty cool report, actually. Unique active wallets, DeFi games, and NFTs. Maybe I'll make a thread around this. This is actually pretty cool statistics on why the NFT industry is just going to blow up. Some really good metrics here. NFT market cap, $14.3 billion, right? Bored Ape Yacht Club, $1.8 billion market cap. CryptoPunks, $5 billion market cap. Punks Comic, 0.54. Decentraland, 0.5 billion? 0.5 billion. My Curio Cards doesn't have one. Meebits, Cool Cats, Bitmap, Art Blocks, Autoglyphs, The Sandbox, VFriends, blah, 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 blah. NBA Top Shot at $0.7 billion market cap. This is a pretty interesting pie graph. NFT trading volume, you can see in August has gone nuts. It hit $4 billion plus. Best month in OpenSea history. This is some really good data, actually. BSC keeps adding on the gaming side. All right, let's see this bit. As previously mentioned, BSC is among the most used blockchains in the entire industry with more than 1 million unique active wallets. While the network became mostly relevant due to the high speed, low transaction costs. Yes, that's cool. Anything specific? So Crypto Blades engaged over 350,000 wallets. What the hell? Crypto Blades, a number that made it the third most playable game in the entire industry. In August, Crypto Blades attracted more than 500,000 unique wallets. Good to maintain itself among most played games and the second most used dApp in the BSC ecosystem, only behind PancakeSwap. Never have I ever come across Crypto Blades. Let's check out Crypto Blades. Obviously something we are missing here. Recently we've heard Solana do really well, and we are starting to hear BSC start doing really well. And remember, Solana, BSC, what do they have in common? They have very, very minimal gas fees. It's much easier and much more enjoyable to the public to play games on these platforms. How to purchase BNB and Skill. How do we check the sales volume of this stuff? Pitch Deck Wiki get started. The game. So Crypto Blades game. MetaMask not detected. I actually don't have MetaMask on this laptop or this computer. Crypto Blades. Let's check out their Twitter. Crypto Blades. 100,000 followers. Wow. Crypto Blades. Let's spend some time checking these guys out. So 100,000 followers. They launched on March 2021. This is why we got started in Play to Earn. In the first place, Crypto Blades is changing lives, and we all get to be part of it. We have 99% uptime guaranteed by the best. I'm really thankful for you developers and all those who are involved in making crypto blades. I'm from the Philippines and I've just cashed out 2 years worth of my annual salary in 2 weeks. This is my first NFT game. Very, very crazy. This game seems to be blowing up. Like, I don't know what to say, but crypto blades seems to be going nuts. It'll be really interesting to see what this is. Again, like, should we turn a blind eye to all the other activity happening not on Ethereum? I don't think we should because of this reason, right? Now, I've not seen the gameplay at all. I need to check this out. Give me a second. So I need to make sure I do maybe I'll do a dedicated video on this. So crypto blades dedicated vid. Red. All right. A couple of notes for myself. But let's really quickly look into crypto blades, guys. Let's check it out. Do we have gameplay? Okay, this guy's covered it 3 months ago, 64,000 views. Well, so it doesn't look like it's a new game. I mean, it's a pretty old game. Rumble Kong is insane, bro. Do you know anything about Lost Poets? Yeah, we checked that out the other day, actually. Can you even claim skill? They have disabled it weeks ago. All right. That's crazy. $19 million bid on the apes right now. Oh, is the Sotheby's auction, is that going on right now? Sotheby's. Let's quickly check this out, guys. Sotheby's ape auction. So Sotheby's is, my god, I keep getting distracted, right? Sotheby's is doing this 101 Bored Apes right now. And the current bid is 19 million US dollars. 3 days left. Oh my god. This could beat 19 million US dollars. That's crazy. Jeez. This could actually beat Beeple's 69 million. Could it? It's got 3 days left. This is definitely seen a lot more traction than that. Let's see how we go. That is crazy. Thanks for bringing that up to my attention. Okay, really quickly, let me just check some gameplay of this. Oops. It looks like you can get skills, play some games. How do we play the game though? Oh my god, these ads are killing me. So where's the game? Recruit character. Looks like it's just a strategy-based, really simple game that you just choose people. Is there any like visuals here? Doesn't look like it. 1 month after. Okay, full basic gameplay. Let's see this one. Okay, so that's the gameplay. Do you just like decide on the skills and maybe it's more strategy and less visuals? Looks super basic, but what I've learned in the NFT industry is not to really judge things by their look, because they could be really fun to play, right? Interesting. That is the game. You just click a bit on the website. It's trash. Just a Ponzi to earn a token. Okay. There you go. Looks quite simple. And I know there's a lot of hate on Binance just because it's you know, these new ecosystems have a lot of transaction volume and some people say it's inflated. So anyway, we'll have to do a dive deep some other time. Crazy. The Bored Apes thing is going for 20 mil. All right, let's keep going. Thank you, Dap Radar, for this article. We'll definitely look a little bit deeper a bit later. Now, remember NFTs, another article talking about how big the NFT industry is going to be. Remember NFTs, they're back big time, and you got a picture of Gary Vee, and I believe this is from this is the guy between Galaxy Digital. I forgot his name. That's it, Novogratz. My bad. So Novogratz and Gary Vee talking about NFTs, both realizing it's going to be a big deal. Now they're talking about the NFT market is running hot. So you can see here the daily sales volume going nuts again in July. And I think somewhere in April, we had this sort of a pullback kind of thing, like, is the space here to stay? And we saw a bit of low volume right now. Even if this drops, like, it should maintain a lot. But considering there's games and all sorts of stuff kind of popping out now, or popping off, like, you would think that there would be a massive continuation of the industry, and I purely believe that, right? All right, so athletes and celebrities want to show them off. Atkins told me there is a bit here about that's helping the NFT industry build clout. Auction houses have served a similar function. NFTs really started generating public attention after a JPEG filing the digital artist people $69 million at Christie's March. Watch this space, blah, 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 blah. And there's a bit here about Stephen Curry, which apparently spent 180K. Where is Curry? So celebrity attention has helped feed the hype. NBA star Steph Curry reportedly just paid 180K USD for an NFT from Bored Ape Yacht Club, one of the highest profile NFT projects. He changed his Twitter avatar to display his prize, the image of a blue monkey in a tan suit. Yeah, look, no surprise that every indicator is pointing upwards. So we have this sort of momentum. Will it drop back? Maybe. I think a lot of this is actually fueled by that whole avatar thing, which I can't really see slowing down anytime soon. Everyone wants to grab the next Bored Ape Yacht Club. Everyone wants to grab the next CryptoPunk. And NFT industries continue to hit headlines because it's such a cultural thing, right? Culturally, if you buy a CryptoPunk and you put it as your avatar, or Steph Curry, now suddenly everyone's like, oh, Steph Curry is into NFTs. Like, it's a very easy way to get non-crypto or NFT native people to signal that they're interested in this space. So whether cryptocurrencies do well or not, I think NFTs will continue because that's what they've done since 2018, 2019, and 2020. A buyer's guide to using Emblem Vault. Emblem Vault doesn't get talked about much, but I think the technology of what this thing does is pretty damn cool. What it allows you to do is sell NFTs that are not on the Ethereum chain. You are somehow able to sell those on the Ethereum chain, right? So something like on Polkadot, or maybe on Cardano, maybe on Bitcoin, so Counterparty. It's not as easy sometimes, or sometimes I believe it's impossible. I'm not a dev, I think this is the case, but I think it's impossible to wrap that NFT that exists on Counterparty into an ERC-721 compatible token. I think that part of it is not as easy. And so what Emblem Vault actually does is lock up that allows the creator to assign different types of media representations to the outside of the vault with different blockchain addresses held within itself. So this vault actually holds a full address within itself. So Emblem Vault locks the address or the content in the vault like a wallet. So it seems like you're buying and selling the wallet. So suddenly, all right, wait a second, as long as the wallet has a passphrase and exists on any chain, then you can sell that as a vault. So that's why what people are doing is they're going to Emblem Vault and they're wrapping things like Pepe Cash, rare Pepes. They're what do you call it? They're doing things like Spells of Genesis, anything that exists on Counterparty, anything that will probably go on to exist on Dot, and all that sort of stuff. But suddenly you can wrap all these wallets, their passphrase and everything, and trade the whole wallet as itself. So now it's not just the token that can be traded. Completely opens the floor to trading in general, anything. And you can see here a bunch of stuff it's selling, still Pepe, all these Pepes, and this is why this Pepe market's gone a bit crazy again, because suddenly it's opening it up to the liquidity that Ethereum provides. So we saw a bit of a rise here. We've seen some slow period. I think we're going to see another entry back into rare Pepes as it hits mainstream again. Remember, guys, what I've noticed is literally every 2 weeks or something we see a boom. So you can see some sort of continuous momentum. That's a slow period. I believe we'll see the same thing again. This sort of thing was pretty evident with Curio cards and other sort of NFT projects, where there's this 2 week sort of slow period and another boom. So we had this boom here. It looks like they're going through some sort of consolidation, and give it another. So this is August 26th. We're at September 5th. Give it till September 15th, September 20th, which is going to get us very close to the Christie's auction. And I think Curio cards is going to blow up again, especially if something like Bored Apes can go on to do $20 million US in collection on Christie's and all that sort of thing. Then I think that sort of hype it generates before the auction is what it gets those prices to go crazy. But in this case, yeah, every 2 weeks I've noticed these days, every 2 to 3 weeks, the NFT industry, especially projects that have longevity or have historical context, seem to do quite well. All right, Doge Meme hits $220 million in valuation as Sotheby's Bored Apes auction is tipped to fetch 18 million US dollars. After a successful fractionalization into DOG tokens, the total implied value of the original Doge Meme NFT has gone through the roof. Now, if you guys took note before, the Doge Meme, which I think is the most iconic meme in the NFT industry, sold for 4 million USD, which is a lot of money, absolutely. But in the crypto world, obviously it wasn't, because what they ended up doing is fractionalizing this meme. They fractionalized this meme and they made it available to the public, and now the valuation is $220 million, which is nuts. So here we go. We've got the circulating supply is 4.3. Current market cap is $100 million. So over 100 mil for the fractionalized version of the Doge Meme. It's a pretty big deal. And I think now looking back, it's such a no-brainer, right? Such a no-brainer, because the Doge, Doge itself is valued at billions. I think it's like $20 billion for Dogecoin. If Dogecoin itself is valued at $40 billion, then why would a meme, when fractionalized, not do tens of millions of dollars in market cap, if not hundreds of millions of dollars? Like the Doge meme should be the real Dogecoin, because it is the real Doge meme in a vault, fractionalized into a token. This seems like a better, stronger play than Dogecoin itself, right? Obviously, Dogecoin is quite historic, but this is backed up by the meme that started it all. So this might be a way. We never know how the future is going to go, but this might be a way to compete against the Dogecoin itself. Pretty interesting play. This might go on to do some crazy valuations because, hey, like I said, it's actually backed by the NFT itself. I think we found the giveaway, guys. Congratulations, Paul Beal and Qasim Trims. You have won the Astro Friends. So congratulations to you. Michael will reach out at some point, and yeah, I'll send that through end of today. I have like 5 NFTs to give away, so I will be doing a lot of NFT sending today. I had this really weird issue, guys, where on the weekend my transactions were stuck in pending. And they were stuck in pending, and I couldn't do anything, right? For 48 hours, 72 hours or something, I literally could not do any transactional stuff because everything was stuck in pending. I had to send more Ethereum because it looked like it didn't have enough Ethereum. Although it was telling me it had 1.6 Ethereum, it wasn't doing the transaction. I Googled it, and for some reason, it said send more Ethereum. So I sent that, and now it's fixed. But anyway, we'll be doing this later on today. Liquidity, $12 million in liquidity is pretty good. Volume coming in, $17 million. The Dogecoin, the dog token, very interesting. Very interesting play. Like I think looking back, I can see why it would be worth this much. So it was 0.016 on September 3rd. Is there a better graph on this? I'm not sure. But now we're sitting at 0.027, so 3 days later. If the Doge army, right, if the Doge army run and try and get this token because they're like, wait a second, it's backed by the actual token, like the meme, then who knows? Who knows how high this valuation can become? I mean, Doge is Doge. The Doge NFT, the meme is a strong meme. So let's just see how this goes, right? All right, let's keep moving. Griffin from Nifty Gateway said, expect to see more stuff from Nifty Gateway. Nifty Gateway seem to be allowing in the very near future, you will start to see curated drops you know and love, as well as projects that originated outside of Nifty, verified NFT projects offered together on our platform and secondary marketplace. I think they're going to go the way of Sotheby's. I think Nifty Gateway are going to try and compete head on with Christie's and Sotheby's to be an auction house that sells NFTs. And now the marketplace for NFTs have started to become quite hot. So why not sell bundles of collection of rare NFTs on Nifty Gateway? I totally think that's what it's going to be doing. Because, you know, Christie's obviously is doing quite well doing that. Why would Nifty Gateway do it? It's such a no-brainer for Nifty Gateway, already quite well used in the NFT space, and that sort of thing might actually give more value to the NFTs on Nifty Gateway that already exist, because they already existed before this whole auction house and secondary market came up, or the value of those could get less because suddenly there's a lot more NFTs you can buy. So is it a completely new dynamic? It'll be interesting to see how this goes, but looks like Nifty Gateway will be doing it'll be going transitioning into a Christie's sort of Sotheby's model. Hayden from Uniswap. So Hayden is the founder of Uniswap. He said, games are a lot more fun when more people can afford to participate. Loot Project is one of the cooler NFT experiments recently, but I hope more NFT projects move from thousands of items worth tens of hundreds of thousands each to millions of items worth dollars each. Absolutely, right? Absolutely. Like, how do you engage 100,000 people on Twitter to all be involved in the same game? Instead of these 10,000 avatars, why don't we do 100,000 avatar drop? I think that would be way cooler than this. Maybe price it much lower. Maybe price it 0.02 Ethereum, but sell, say, 100,000 of them. If you do that, what do you get? 100,000 times 0.02. Is that 20,000? 100,000 times 0.02 is 2,000 Ethereum. So you do it at 2,000 Ethereum, but you have 100,000 people potentially part of your community. So I think like that sort of a model is way more important than the 0.2 to 10,000. This 10,000 avatar thing was pretty good when there was not many people in the space. Now, like, why wouldn't you do like sell 100,000 if not a million of them at a cheaper price point? So that's interesting to see. Bored Ape Yacht Club going nuts. Every hour there seems to be 5 to 6 sales. Look at this, an hour ago there's like 15 to 20 sales at 35-40 Ethereum. Let's keep scrolling back. Looks like the floor's gone up. Some people selling at 25 Ethereum or accepting the bid. Somewhere like a day ago or 2 days ago, it still looks like it's a 40 ETH floor or 60 ETH floor. Actually, let's look at this graph. Here we go. So we have this sort of a wave come up when I believe the auction was announced. The volume slowing down a little bit, but now as the auction is going to hit 18 to 19 mil, looks like people are going nuts buying the floor out for the Bored Apes. 42 sales here, 21, 58, 42 sales here. And look what happens, guys. Every single time there's a dip, but boom, it goes nuts again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we pull back a little bit, but Bored Apes does a run to say 60, 80, maybe even 100 Ethereum. So you got to kind of remember that at the same time, what's happening with this inflow of people coming in and the price is going up is the number of owners is going up again, right? The number of owners is now 5,400, so they're 50% plus distributed, which I would think the highest wallet owner of one board, like the biggest wallet owner now, a wallet on average has 2 Bored Apes, basically, right? So there's less dumping pressure and there's more buy pressure where people are coming in and there's less people selling them. But 40 ETH for a Bored Ape is 160,000 US dollars. That is a house in many, many countries, right? So doing pretty crazy numbers over there. Let's go through this loot thing real quick. This loot project came out of nowhere, and I am struggling to understand the entirety of it. But what it looks like is a really, really simple, in fact, the most basic, simple way to sell backpacks, right? You're kind of basically buying bags or backpacks which have items in it, right? So think of it as backpacks with items in it to kind of for devs to build RPGs and games on. So suddenly we've got this data. We have 10,000 people or 7,800 owners or people that have these items, and in the metadata it tells you which items they have and how much percentage it is. So you can see Silk Robe has 0.03 percentage. Now suddenly I can go on and build a game and say, hey guys, if you have these items, then in my game, these items have value, although they look like this, but in my game, if you have a quarterstaff, or a robe of enlightenment, then in my game, that is a real quarterstaff, and you can use that. It has this sort of statistics. Quite interesting. A very, very super interesting model. what they've done is they have intentionally omitted what is it? Loot is randomized adventure gear generated and stored on chain. Stats, images, and other functionality are intentionally omitted for others to interpret. Feel free to use loot in any way you want. So the fact that they're stored on chain is a big deal. For developers, it's a big deal. For gamers, because suddenly game developers, suddenly they can build games and can use these, and you can take them as real items, and it's open for any game developer to build any games. So suddenly, think about it, 5, 10, 20, 30 people, 30 games can be built, 50, 100, unlimited amount of dev teams can come together and build games built on this. Will that be a thing? Will they go ahead and do that? Is completely up to them. Who knows what the incentive would be for game developers to do that? But it's quite an interesting concept, right? Pretty interesting concept. What is loot? Loot is a collection of 8,000 unique bags of adventure gear, originally released by Dom Hoffman. At release, anyone could claim loot bags for just gas, and all bags were claimed in under 4 hours. Each loot bag contains 8 items apiece for an adventurer's chest, foot, hand, head, neck, ring, waist, and weapon. Loot is an unaudited project. Bags number 1 to 7777 were claimable by anyone. Blah, blah, blah. Why is loot special? Loot is unique, the first project of its kind, which no company, art, team, or attributes. Loot makes it impossible to gatekeep any creative decision. Loot is the unfiltered, uncensorable building blocks for stories, experiences, games, and more in the hands of the community at no cost. Loot pursues complete decentralization from day one. So basically, again, it's just put out this metadata for 8,000 people, and suddenly anyone can go on and build games on top of that. Now, they're not going to build games. It doesn't seem like they're going to build any games. So can I build with loot? Yes, you are free to use loot in any way you want. For inspiration, see existing resources put together by the community. So they got loot rarity, loot subgraph, loot SDK. You got the SDK. I don't think they've got any games, though. I don't think there's any games that they're going to be building in. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be building any games, but quite an interesting thing, right? And then you had Beanie Maxi came around and he sold these things. Sorry, he didn't sell them. I think he made them free to claim, so suddenly people could claim these for free. Hoodie, tattooed chest, money clip, all these kind of funny, stupid things. But again, it's a simple concept. All it is like 100 or 1,000, whatever it is, number randomly generated items that you throw into a notepad. You can sell them, and people are actually buying notes now with items on it, which is, we seem like we're going backwards in terms of complexity. Quite interesting concept, actually, because there's value here in terms of decentralization. All right, Ethereum's on the run. Ethereum is on the run. It is starting to increase in value quite a lot over the last October 2020. So it had a drop over here. Seems like it's hitting the same numbers again, 4,000 USD. But we are starting to see Ethereum on the move again, guys. Right? It's going to shake up the NFT industry a little bit, because some people will be like, wait a second, my 3 ETH avatar is now worth 30K. If NFT goes on to if Ethereum goes on to hit 10K USD, and they're going to try and sell it for maybe 2 ETH because they're happy with 20,000 USD instead of 12,000 USD, which is what it would have been at 4,000 USD per Ethereum. So I think it'll drop the prices in Ethereum a little bit. As usual, that's what happens. But then prices sort of consolidate and then start to move again for NFTs. So I think that's what's going to happen with Ethereum and NFTs, because it's always happened. But at the end of the day, like, big money starts to flow into NFTs, as it always has. And I'm kind of scared of the industry and how big it's going to get. I think, I have no idea what sort of record sales we're going to start to see in the NFT industry. All right, guys, pretty much it for this show. I'd love to talk to you guys about what's going on. Again, like, I feel like this loot concept is going to be copy pasted multiple times. Already there's probably like 10 to 20, 30 derivatives in the works. And there's nothing special about loot, because at the end of the day, they're not going on to build something. So someone can go on and build this and sell this, build this and make this. Let's see the loot marketplace, because it'll be interesting to see what happens with the prices. It went up over here. 11 ETH each is going nuts again. So 11 ETH floor. At some point, I think the floor was about 17 ETH. 45 Ethereum. Some people are paying 45 times 4 is like $200K US for this. Yeah, people are selling 200k US. Imagine 9 days, minted 9 days ago, and in 9 days you mint it for what, maybe $1,000 and selling it for 200k. That's crazy, right? What is special about this? Maybe it's got morbid root, shirt of vitriol. So it's the only one that has this item on it. Pretty interesting. What else? Is anything else that's like really rare in this? Shoes, Victor blended. This as well as this. This looks like it's a single result as well. Think about like RuneScape, Have a Hotel, and all these sort of MMO games where you're running around in this open world. This is the sort of data they have in the back end. So visually, it's kind of fun and cool, but back end data wise, they've got this. So they're basically selling the data, the metadata notepad of the structure of the game, letting the people design these games. So again, games plural, because anyone can come in and design multiple games and accept these as NFTs. And some of the early ones got airdrops of around 75k. Okay, do you know of any websites that shows a list of free NFT airdrops? No, I don't. Mighty, what are your thoughts on Crypto RT? Early generative project, I think will do well because it's early, but I think you're going to have these waves of interest that will go after this historic thing. Like historical NFTs will only, it's its own genre. So I'm not sure. We're still kind of figuring out which ones are relevant. It's just insane. Kind of like buying the Ether rocks, but at least they have historical value. Yeah, it is insane. Like, I think these will go down in value because again, like anyone can copy paste this model, right? There is no reason to just use these guys. Some of the early ones, smash the like button, only 59 likes. Why so lazy? Yes, please, guys. Please smash the likes button. Thank you. What is incentive for gamers to use this? That's the good question, right? The question used to be as well, like, what's the incentive for game studio? What's the incentive for games or game studios to use NFTs? Why would they use NFTs where suddenly people can take those NFTs and sell them in a different marketplace? Now, Axie Infinity showed why there's definitely an incentive because the transactional revenue would bring a lot of revenue to the business. Now, I would think that loot would do the same thing as for loot. It's great because as people use them, it goes up in value and then people transact them. They get a bit of royalty fees. But for projects that want to attract these games, I'm not sure if there is value because there's only 7,000 players. Yes, it is the original one. And maybe, you could, for example, if there's other notepads out there and people are doing their own loot sort of things, and maybe there's 100,000 people of a certain project, they may go on to, they have way more players, but that company might be able to say, all right, guys, we're going to accept these traits in our game, and suddenly in our game, you can use this specific one, and they'll onboard thousands of user bases to their game, right? Which is great for their game visibility. It's kind of like how celebrities put a Bored Ape as a profile pic. In this case, a game would say, hey guys, we're going to give functionality to this NFT set and bring all those people to their game. So in that way, it is important for games. It might be good for games. Like if I was a game builder, for example, for the MetaKey, we were building a DCL HQ. It makes total sense to us to say, hey, all right, guys, well, if you have any of these traits, well, in our game, our characters that we have can equip all these things. So that would suddenly bring a lot of eyeballs to our project. It would do a lot more to what we want for our project to be. So it makes sense to onboard user bases for games. Now, no one's really done that. It's kind of like a vampire attack on certain projects. No one's really done that properly, but I think it's definitely the future. Guys, we're all talking about historical value, etc. Don't forget to buy into some Sol NFTs and ADA NFTs, since in a few years people will be talking about them as historical value. Potentially, if Sol and ADA go on to do billions of dollars in value and volume, then yeah, I can see them doing quite well as well. Thoughts on Damian Hirst, the currency? Great long-term investment, I think. I actually cashed out my Damian Hirst NFTs. I made a 2x on them. I thought it started to reach a valuation of $50,000 each, and I thought, like there's 10,000 of them, they'll start to go up in value slower at this point. Let's see, Damian Hirst, the currency. I think I cashed out at about 15 ETH or 14 ETH. Let's see. So yeah, they're about 12 ETH floor right now. I had floor ones, but there's definitely a lot of sales coming in, right? Definitely a lot of sales continuously coming in. But again, there's 10,000 of them, guys. There's 10,000 of them. So I think there'll still be a lot of people that have doubles, triples, quadruples of Damian Hirst currency that will still slow them in time. But I pretty much have no doubt that these are going to go on to be worth quite a lot of money in the coming months. All right, guys. What are my thoughts on Curio cards? That's the last one I'll do. Curio cards. I think they'll do well, but they'll see waves of interest, as we have always seen. They'll keep popping up on every project that keeps popping up on my radar has gone on to do very, very well in the long term. Timing does matter. So, for example, if you're buying at the top and you aren't buying when no one's paying attention, like right now, not many people are paying attention to Curio cards, and that's why they've dropped from say 2 Ethereum floor to back down to 1.1. But this is a lot higher than what it was back in the day. Back in the day, the floor was like 0.6, August 15th, and even before then, the floor was something like 0.17. Look at that. The average price was 0.17 July. So, just a couple of months ago, not even a couple of months ago. This is like 45 days ago. The price was 0.17. So it's gone up a good 8x since then. Based on your timing. So sometimes people see the hype and they jump in, and then they have to go through this sort of a pullback for a little bit. But I think with the auction coming up, we should see a lot of interest in my Curio cards, because we've always seen that be the case in the other ones. And obviously being a pre-CryptoPunk project on Ethereum definitely does matter. Very basic art though in some cases, but in other cases it's pretty cool art. So for example, Mad Bitcoins, this sort of thing shows what the vibe was back then. It was more about Bitcoin, less about altcoins. That's why you see a lot of Bitcoin stuff. You see Mine Bitcoin for the MasterCard thing. You've seen BTC keys, right? This is the culture here was a lot more about Bitcoin. So Crypto Graffiti did this, and yeah, I think it'll do well in the long term. All right, guys, it's been good. We've covered an hour. Congratulations to our 2 winners. I think we will go again tomorrow, guys. We have 5 days ahead of us of streaming, so don't worry, don't stress. If I haven't covered your project, I will do in the coming days. Again, thanks for joining us. Join our Discord if you haven't already. Remember, we are really active with NFT talk and chatter and a community in our Discord. Looking forward to doing this again tomorrow. So enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and we'll catch you tomorrow again, 7 p.m. EST. Be here again. Smash the like button, comment, give me your feedback, and we'll do it again tomorrow. So take care and have a great day.